Hello, I'm Laura Marling and welcome to Reversal of the Muse. Today I'm speaking with Haim. And for those of you who are just joining us in this series of podcasts, this is a series of conversations that I'm having with people about feminine creativity. And within that, I'd like to unpack that just a little bit because I'm not sure that creativity is necessarily bodily gendered. But I do think that there's a heavy masculine dominance within the environment of making music. And I don't know that I've suffered particularly from that being the case. But I wonder what joys await us when we understand more about feminine creativity, and what if women had created studios, or what if that space was differently designed and that world was different in its way of receiving feminine creativity. So the Haim sisters are just phenomenal musicians, all of them. And when they play together, it's quite a thing to watch. And they are also just the coolest, loveliest girls, the kind of people that you hope deem you worthy enough of being their friend. And I really enjoy talking to them. And also Ariel Reichstag, their producer, joined us for the conversation. And he didn't speak a lot, but when he did, it was really interesting. And he works with a lot of women and sees no difference in the way that he works with women or the way that he works with men. But I think some people do feel a difference. I've never experienced working with a female producer because they are really few and far between. So yeah, it was really interesting to speak with them. We didn't stay too close to the topic of female creativity because they've got lots of interesting things to say. So I wanted to talk to them about a lot of things. And anyway, here you go. Enjoy and come and see us again at Reversal of the Muse. You guys are Haim.
Yes, that is us.
And so I've asked you all in here because 3 of you are women.
Yeah. Yes.
You're not, Ariel.
But my name is that of a woman.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I pronouncing that right as
Yeah.
well? Am I?
You did great.
Phew. So on my Wikipedia discovery, I actually knew this because I know someone else who told me this because they were on your course. But you studied ethnomusicology.
I did.
And you completed it in 2 years instead of 5.
Instead of 5. Yeah.
How did you manage that?
I took 33 units a quarter. And didn't didn't see the light of day.
Right.
But it was partly because I knew that I wanted to be creating music as opposed to just learning about it as quickly as possible. Mm-hmm. So I busted my ass and stayed in my... popular. I was so popular. I was super popular. And at the same time, it was really enjoyable and really fun. And I learned a lot about really fun music and about the culture. And I studied Brazilian music, northern Brazilian music, and Bulgarian folk music. So I was in a choir of all ladies, and we sang Bulgarian folk music, and the subject matter was awesome. It was like talking about wedding shoes and how are we going to find the right pair of wedding shoes. It was just really, it was funny to learn the things that they sing about and things that are important to them in the culture.
Is it Bulgarian culture where the ladies all bake before the wedding? They all bake bread before the wedding
together.
Yeah.
And there's the other thing that's really important, I think, about Bulgarian culture is 90% of the songs and the traditions aren't written down. It's a very oral culture, a very oral tradition. So I thought that was very interesting. And by studying it, it was almost like sacrilege because everything had to be written down, and we were writing things down. But I don't know.
That's interesting, and I'm going to link that in a fairly tenuous way to the subject of the podcast.
I'm really excited for this magical surprise. Okay.
Because I've been talking to a lot of women who work in studios, engineers and producers and mixers, and a lot of female musicians. And I've been talking about whether there's a difference between the way that women learn and the way that men learn. And maybe perhaps that's why the studio music industry is slower to have women become and join and become equally involved in those areas as men, whereas other industries seem to be doing that much quicker.
You mean because it's kind of just learn as you go?
Yes.
As opposed to there being a rubric or a textbook?
Yes. And is it possible that women learn better from women? Maybe?
I think that it's a special relationship that women have with other women. I think women obviously, and I guess men, have a different relationship with their male friends also.
Totally.
But I think that there was something to be said about being in a room of all women. And that was the funny thing also, being at UCLA and having to say, like, no men, you can't be in this club. You can't be in this because it's all women, it's all ladies. And I think I like to think that, or maybe it is true that was the only like entertainment based club at the school that was only women.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. You guys are in the studio at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I saw two of you briefly at a party the other day, and sounds so LA.
Yeah.
And
super cool holiday party in the hills.
And I was asking you how you feel about being in the studio, because I think it's a really interesting place for, especially if you're in a band as well. And we were just briefly talking about how much you like touring. Is that just you, Este? Or
No, we
do
all
you
like
like
touring.
it?
We all like touring.
Well, it's like summer camp. Like, I feel like touring is super fun for us because we're like adventurers. We actually go on little adventures, and festival season's the best. That's my favorite
That's
part.
what Alana's, I think, talking about when she's talking about like musician summer camp.
Yeah.
It's like
Right.
you all eat together in the commissary.
Well, we never went to sleepaway camp, so it's
Yeah.
like our version of sleepaway camp.
And you see the same bands, like a lot of the same
Yeah.
festivals, and you're on the same routes, and
Yeah.
you build these bonds with people, and a lot of times people that like you're big fans of, and you kind of have to keep your cool at first and be like, oh, yeah, it's a, hey, Claire from Grimes, yeah.
Or Hi Grimes, not Claire from Grimes.
Well, I'm just saying, like, Claire,
But I
who is
think-
Grimes.
By her official title, is
Yeah,
Claire
yeah.
from Grimes.
Claire from Grimes. But yeah, like I think festival season's like awesome because like you support each other. Like everyone's always like side stage for your shows, and like
Yeah, it is
you're
different.
all like waiting for bus call at like midnight, and you just like are like around a campfire. It like actually sounds like exactly.
It is a lot like summer camp,
It's
really.
Yeah,
super
it is.
rad.
And the arrested development state of musicians as well. It's perfect. I was at a festival this summer, and I don't generally get starstruck, but I was sat next to Thurston Moore in the commissary.
Oh, I'm
Can't.
sure.
And I lost my shit.
Oh my
I
God.
was all levels of uncool. I think I was like, my voice was a bit shaky and all that.
Right? And that's,
But I
that's like
managed to-
the clear indication.
Yeah, your bottom lip starts twitching.
Hyperventilating.
You're getting like
I
your weird
wouldn't.
pasta from catering, to
Yeah, the
shaking,
weird, always
some
that
weird like
pasta.
salmon or some weird shit.
Yeah, that's kind of the only bummer is when you get to a place and you're like, oh, the food isn't that. I
Yeah.
can't.
I
The
mean-
sweets table,
Well,
man, it kills me every
it kills
time.
me.
There's
Well, for
all
you specifically because you're diabetic.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say. Is like I'm diabetic, and sometimes it's
No German festivals for you
Slim
then.
pick-
no German festival. Well, no, I mean there's definitely places. There's festivals that are specifically like vegetarian. That
yeah.
to me are like, oh, like when I get to those places, I'm like, yay, I can like actually eat things that are good for me. And before I was diabetic, I was never like that. It's not like I really thought about what I was eating, but now I have to. And I'm not only diabetic, I have celiac disease as well, so I have to be gluten-free. So it's a lot. It's a tall order.
I was a touring gluten-free vegan. I wasn't celiac, I was just one of them for
See?
a while.
That's
Whoa,
exactly
how did
what
you?
I was.
How do you do that?
I got really ill, but not in like a sexy way. Like,
Right.
I didn't look sexy ill. I was bad.
not in like.
Well, we had a
yeah.
guitar tech that was vegan, and he schooled us on that Oreos.
Oreos are vegan.
Are they? Not
Yeah.
gluten-free though.
They're
Not
not
gluten-free.
No.
So we checked
There you
one
go.
box. Next box, not so much.
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, my doctor eventually told me that I had to incorporate more protein into my body, or
Are you
like, I did, like-
vegetarian?
No, now I'm not. I was
Right.
vegan though. I was vegan for
Right.
3 years when I was on tour,
That's how long I lasted too.
and then I got home and he did a bunch of tests and he was like, "It's weird that you're alive."
Yeah. How are you standing up?
Oh, hey.
It's puppet strings. Is that what's going on?
Weekend at Bernie's.
Weekend at Bernie's? And he's like, that's terrifying. Tell me what to do. And I did, and now I feel way better, and I am better, but touring was definitely a challenge food-wise.
Yes.
Everything else is magical and so
Are
much
you
fun.
guys, because I am now, so, you know, you guys have been touring for a while. I've been touring now for 10 years.
Holy shit.
Oh my god.
So
Do
I'm
you
now,
still love it?
I do actually. And similarly,
Good.
I have, you know, my drummer and my bass player have been my drummer and my bass player for 8 years.
Oh, that's amazing.
And our crew
That's
are
great.
always beautiful, amazing people.
It has to be, that's the thing.
It has to be that way, yeah, totally. And you've got to make grown-up decisions about those kind of things.
Yes.
But I'm now very specific about my environment. more than I
important
used
as
to
well.
be, because I've just had too many dressing rooms that don't have light in them, natural light, or or the toilet's just in the room like a prison, or now I'm a bit so
Dude, venue showers, man.
Dude, yeah, it's like everyone's
So-
listening. It's-
Or when you
I
go
don't
to a
know.
venue and the toilets backstage, there's no toilets, there's just urinals.
Yeah.
That's always fun. You're like,
gross.
You're like, wait, how do I do this? Like, give me like an hour, I'll figure this
you have
out.
to get Spider-Man on the wall.
Yeah.
interesting. Wow.
Okay. Ariel, you've been sat very politely there.
Oh, it's
listening to
good. It's
giggles.
good. I'm listening. I'm just.
Do you work with a lot of women?
You do. You totally
Yeah,
do.
you do.
I do.
Why do you
Yeah.
break it down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a matter of fact.
Do you think there's a reason why?
I have some ideas.
I mean,
Uh-oh.
I'm scared.
No.
Waka
I
waka.
think it's your bedside manner.
Yeah.
oh yeah, but I mean,
You mean like in regards to like the projects that he chooses to take, like why he does that, or
I think it's probably why it's women is probably a mix of both, isn't it? That you have a good bedside manner with women, and then you've done some records by women, and
yeah, that may be why it worked out. But I mean, why I'm drawn to it is it's case by case, and I've just been naturally drawn to the music made by women. I wouldn't say that it was like a conscious decision towards working with women.
and some of your favorite
But
artists are women.
That's true too. I mean, that is true. I mean, because I've been making music for a long time and working with people for a long time, and I think I was kind of finding my own voice even as a producer. Just how to translate what was in my head into a recorded medium, and I think that when it all clicked, maybe I was bored of working with guys. I'd been working with guys for a long time. I'd been in bands, and it was generally a man party, And I'm trying to think when. I mean, there were a few women along the way that I was kind of lucky and spoiled. And one of the first real projects I did was, I'm trying to think if this is true, but I think it was Charlie XCX, who was extremely talented and inspiring to work with. So it didn't take very much for me to be into that. And then you mentioned Ray Morris. When I heard her demos and her voice, it's just so incredible that, again, no questions asked about that. And when I saw these women play live, pretty blown away about that. And so there was no real question. And then there's been others. I mean, again, Adele, not too shabby. And
Jesus, work with some men. So many ladies.
Sky Ferreira, Solange. It's been a
wow.
pretty good run with the other gender.
do you find collaborating with women different to men?
No, not really. I
Okay.
mean, not for me. I mean, I remember having a girlfriend a long time ago who felt, I won't say jealous, but the type of way that you might be. Like, my relationship with men in the studio can become just as it's just there's no difference really. It's a
Right.
really intimate process, whether it's men or women, and there's nothing really else about it.
What I'm trying to understand from these conversations is whether there is a uniquely feminine way of creating music and what that looks like. And I mean, have you ever come across, how often do you work with female engineers?
That is rare. Less than 1%.
Yeah,
for
it's
me.
fair to say they're definitely few and far between.
Yeah.
I know of them, and I have worked with a couple,
Yeah.
but not in any sort of long, meaningful way.
Yeah. And I wonder, I've interviewed a couple of female engineers now in LA, and they're all really interesting. And some of them are very much of the opinion that they don't notice the fact that they're women, or they don't think there's any difference. And some of them are like, yeah, it gets me noticed more and people remember me at least. And yes, I've had some difficulty. And I wonder what walking into, for me, whenever I've walked into a studio, my parents ran a recording studio as well, which is exactly the same. It's always me walking into a room with two men usually, and I wonder what that would be like if I walked into a room and it was two women ready to do that, be that creative environment.
Well, I mean, off the top of my head, I know two female producers that I know and love are Wendy and Lisa from The Revolution. If I could just be in a room watching them doing what they do, it would be it'd be a masterclass, I think.
How do you ladies find going into guitar shops?
Love it.
Esty
loves it.
Love. It's my.
I mean, it's always been a running joke. It's
Yeah.
like you go in and they're like, "Oh, hi," like, you know, oh look, like here's this
Pink.
Are you looking for the Squire? Like, you know,
Pink,
one of
like,
guitar?
flower.
It's fine, but it's just like you go automatically there, like a starter guitar.
Do you want
Well,
the Daisy Rock
I mean,
guitar?
to be completely honest, me and Danielle are not we don't love, like, I'm not gonna, like, walk into a guitar shop and be like, let me bust out the solo, like show offy. We've never been, like, show offs, and I feel like when you, like, walk into Guitar Center, they, like, expect you to, like, have pyro and, like, confetti and, like, put on a show. So it'd be, like, it's always super awkward, but, yeah, like, they would always, like, no, like, nothing against, like, Daisy Rock, but, like, they would always be like, do you want this Powerpuff Girls, guitar? But it's just, I mean, it's just what happens.
So when I say that I enjoy it because I love seeing the look
Yeah.
on their face when I school them and I make them feel like idiots.
Please, can I come to a guitar shop?
Oh my
Yeah.
God,
Home.
it's like my favorite thing.
You can go with us.
I
Yeah,
can't tell
I'm
you-
sick of
you-
it.
Yeah, a lot.
I'm like,
I
Esty, don't, not
I
this
get
time.
aggressive. I just get aggressive. I find myself getting really, and that's the thing is like I wouldn't do that if I didn't feel
Like you had.
like I had to. And it's not like I go in there with the intention of doing it, but if it is brought to my attention and I do feel like I'm being demeaned in a weird way, I'm obviously going to stand up for myself, and I'm going to, you know, if they're going to dish it out, I can dish it out just as easily.
It is so frustrating though sometimes, even going in, like, I'm not gonna play a fucking, like, solo, like,
Yeah.
you go in, I strum a couple chords, plug it into if I want to hear an amp or guitar, it's like, it's just frustrating. Like, I feel like they're just, like, wanting you to, like, fucking rip, like,
Yeah, and
some
you're
kind of,
always
like,
sitting next to a
blues
dude
scale
that's, like,
who's just, like,
literally
fucking-
killing it, like, doing, like, tapping and, like, sticking
Yeah.
out his tongue and, like going crazy, and you're just like, I just want to hear the tone. I, like, don't... And then they, like, look at you, like, roll their eyes, like, oh,
Girl.
a G to a D, really? Okay, fine.
Girl.
Yeah.
Really great over here. Looking at some great stuff. But yeah, it's awful. I hate it. I mean, honestly, I think it's just like at like the big crazy guitar shops. Like if you go into like a small boutique one there, it's very chill and low key, and I feel fine.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Or
I've
you
had
get
some
a
dodgy
funny
ones there
thing to
too.
talk
Or you
about
get the
that.
salesman that like hasn't seen a girl in about 2 days. And then all the guys.
Oh yeah, it's like everyone. I know it's true. Like when you walk into like Guitar Center, it's like
yeah, girl. Okay, keep her cool. Hey,
Sweating
there, miss.
bullets.
What can I help you with? I'm like, I know what I'm looking for, buddy. Just let me go to the Fender bases. Yeah, you got your vintage section. Okay. Pre CBS anyone? Oh right. Like, and I hate. And at the end of the day, I do hate myself for having to do that. But like I said, like if I feel like I'm being demeaned in any kind of way, I automatically feel like I need to defend myself. And I think that's also a byproduct of just being around mostly male musicians growing up and never feeling like I had a support system from and it's hard because I did have a lot of guy friends that obviously invited me to jam sessions and like did support me, but
there would always be that one asshole.
Right, for every one there's also one that like
Fucking
would say
douche.
things that, you know, it's just things like, wait, but girls don't play bass guitar. And
Or they would hand you like a guitar and be like, like a skull.
or
You're just
it would
like,
be like
Gesundheit, sorry,
Right.
is there a
like,
draft
all
in here?
right, okay, well here we go. And then it would be like, all right, I was constantly feeling like I had to prove myself. So, and I did, at the end of the day I did, but it was also like you'd have these jams in our neighborhood. I mean, we grew up in a neighborhood where a lot of the kids, all these valley kids, just like picked up a guitar when they were...
Yeah, everyone wants to be a rock star when they grow up.
So they'd have like, you'd have the garage door open, like something out of a movie, and just kids would come by and play. And I was one of those kids, and I always felt like, a song would be called out, like, does anyone know Damn It by Blink-182? And I'd be like, yeah! And I'd like almost start to play it, and then like another bass player would be like, I got this, and then be like, and be like, oh, come on! Like, let me just do it. Like, I know it. Yeah. And,
You're
so
really
constantly feeling, and that's also, I think, where I get my, my interjecting of things is me constantly feeling like I need to, but I know. Okay, all right.
But that's support. Like, I think that's a very common experience of being a female musician and a talented, threateningly talented female musician. But I think those times are changing.
Yes.
I agree.
And
I think that too.
As we get older as well, I think that it was bad when we were younger. I think as we got older, it was like, okay, right, we don't, I don't think that a lot of people really see gender when it comes to music now.
Yes.
Like in jam sessions, especially, like, we've also been lucky enough to be a part of a community in Los Angeles where everyone is super supportive of one another, regardless of gender, regardless of age, regardless of economic standpoint. Like, it doesn't matter. So you have all these people that are like touring musicians and are like really successful, and also these, kids that are just out of high school and like, but really are passionate about guitar, and they just show up at these jam sessions and everyone's kind of playing together. So like, if you think of like the mid 90s and then into like the late 90s, first of all, there was a shift in music, period. But for me as a bass player, I started playing bass in 1997. And all I remember seeing on MTV and listening to on the radio, even on K-Rock, was very, very male-driven rock.
Yeah.
And
I also think that now rock, I don't think it's changed that much. I think a lot of rock
music is very much...
Yeah, I guess it's definitely a statement when you see like a female-driven rock band.
Well, the guitar is traditionally very phallic, isn't it? I mean, it's like an sort of extension of Freudian imagery.
Up and down the neck, Yeah.
Lots of interesting things we could go into there. But
there's a lot of instruments that I feel like are that way. It was the same way with the cello. It was like seeing a woman playing cello. Like, there was a movie called Hillary and Jackie.
Yeah.
Do you remember that movie?
Love that movie.
One of my favorite movies. I remember seeing that as a child.
Yeah.
I remember my dad really wanted me to watch it, and I never understood why until I was older. But I think he wanted me to see, oh, like, there's a woman playing a male instrument, and I just started playing bass.
Right.
And look at how talented she is, and look at how, like, she's lauded as, like, just this amazing cello player. Not just an amazing female cello player, but just this amazing cello player. Mm. And I definitely had to close my eyes. He didn't let me see a lot of the sex scenes and stuff.
Sexy time scene.
Sexy time scene. I just had to close my eyes. My parents didn't let me watch it. But I remember thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, like, that is, like, the cello is such a male...
Well, the cello's so interesting because it's exactly the tone of a female voice.
Right.
So you get men straddling these very feminine sounding, quite masculine looking instruments. It's really interesting.
It is interesting. So to see a woman, and also playing with her entire body and playing it with like such ferocity, and like the way that she played was, I guess at the time, was really off-putting, but that was also what made her famous. So I think that always stuck with me. I think it came out in 97, like the year that I started playing bass.
Good movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. And it's about sisters.
Thank you so much for coming and doing this.
What
an absolute joy.
I hope you were interesting.
That was perfect.
Okay,
absolutely perfect.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah,
Thank
of course.
you.
This was so much fun.
Anytime.